Why are our diamonds not here yet? Oh, that looks evil. Whoa. Wow, that looks gorgeous, man. It's because this is all identical to the original Lykan Hypersports. You improve upon it, and if you're not necessarily improving, you're tailoring it to better suit your needs. That might help. Ooh, yes. Tell us how your life is changing because of Genius Garage this year.
All right, so I got a job with Genius Garage, which is exactly what the program is designed to do, and it's done a great job of it.
What's up, people? So let's get back to the Lykan Hypersport build with Genius Garage and the updates, where we're at. Also, Tyler has a really cool surprise I thought we'd share with you guys. We're going to see the final taillights, all that working, and where we're at on the headlight design right before the car is about to get painted. But I also like to do a little bit of a reintroduction because it's been a better part of 20 videos of this build since the first ones where we really talked about the origin of this body, where it's at, what an actual Lykan Hypersport is, how this one is similar, how it's different, and basically put any myths to rest. So come on, let's take a closer look. But actually, it's a really good day here at Genius Garage. Things are looking clean. For you guys following along on the King Zero build, the chassis is now complete. And I'm really happy about that and building that coming along. But the guys here, Ryan and Tyler, obviously working on the car. But I kind of wanted to start with just the differences between this car and a Lykan Hypersport and all the things that are actually the same that are really cool. So I tell you what, cameraman, if you'd be so kind to come on over here by the Lykan hood, I think you'll be able to get a good view. I want to kind of point some stuff out there. So guys, this body is the one that was used in the Fast and Furious Live and the movies for the stunt car. Obviously, it's a little haggard, it's a little bit beat, but this is the only complete body that came out of the W Motors molds of the Lykan Hypersport. The only, of course, difference being they're glass fiber instead of carbon fiber, but obviously still a really great composite material and a legitimate Hypersport body. And it's cool that it's got the movie lineage there. Now, truthfully, we utilized a Porsche Boxster, which is a very nice platform, to tear down to utilize for this build. The first reason being is the Lykan Hypersport has a Porsche derivative engine, flat six engine, that of course is twin turbocharged in the rear, mid-engine configuration. It's a 3.8 liter. The Boxster one, the stock engine is 3.4 liter. Obviously there's the ability to make it into something bigger and of course twin turbocharge it. And it's already in the mid-engine configuration. So that worked out really well. And this is one of the more interesting things about the Lykan Hypersport. They did in fact use, on the original 7 cars from W Motors, a lot of Porsche mechanicals. And in fact, from the dashboard forward, this car is identical to a Lykan Hypersport because the entirety of the front bulkhead, this trunk assembly, your firewall area here, the fuel cell, and all the internals and the basics of the dash structure and all the air conditioning stuff, that is exactly what W Motors used. Even the radiators up front here and the air conditioning parts and such, those are identical. And in fact, the third radiator, which you can get as an option for Porsche, for both the 911s and the Boxsters, because as you guys may know, the 911s from here forward are identical to the Boxsters of that time period. And that's exactly what the Lykan Hypersport from W Motors was based on. So I just wanted to say that because obviously there's some people that don't know. They're not sure whether, is this like some kit car? And they're just saying, oh, it's just a shell thrown on a Boxster. No, I appreciate the trolling. However, that's really not fair to say at all. And the reason I wanted to point that out, and if you come a little closer, camera guy, I'll show you guys this. And this is the proof in the pudding. This dashboard part here that we've finished in this very nice wrinkled black, kind of like a Ferrari valve cover or dashboard, this is a W Motors part out of the mold. And the windshield actually will go underneath the top skin, the composite skin of the roof, and there's some skin here for the A-pillars for your windshield, and that comes all the way to the front here, and your windshield wiper pokes out of there. And what you'll notice is that this piece fits the stock Porsche dashboard perfectly. It fits all of the stock Porsche bulkheads and structure and unibody and comes right up to the weather stripping of the trunk. And that's a reason. It's because this is all identical to the original Lykan Hypersports. And in fact, if you come over here to the front and look forward at the trunk area here, this is the weather stripping from the Porsche of this trapezoidal shape with the rounded edges on a bit of a curve here. And if you look this way, come a little closer, you don't have to get super close, you can hold right there, cameraman. So here is the hood. And this is going to require a lot of finishing, so you're seeing it in its ugly duckling stage. But this inner structure here, which has been bonded to the glass fiber shell composite, this is from the molds. And you can see where it's gotten hurt from being a stunt car that we are in fact fixing through composites and epoxies and such. But this line right here, you notice, is the exact same trapezoidal shape as the trunk. And there's a reason for that. This is the same out of the original Lykan Hypersport molds in glass fiber, and we've actually reinforced a number of things in carbon fiber to make it even better. But this was made specifically to obviously carry forward the beautiful design of the Hypersport, but work with the Porsche mechanicals. Now, you may say, oh, did Lykan just build it on a Porsche? No, they didn't just rebody a Porsche. There's a tremendous amount of engineering, which we're going to talk about in the rear that goes into this. But this very normal practice in the automotive world and in the coach building world is to start with something that already exists, you improve upon it, and if you're not necessarily improving, you're tailoring it to better suit your needs. So you can take Porsche's amazing engineering of the 911s, of the Boxsters, and you can take that and make it more rigid. You can update and work on the suspension, brakes, etc. And you can make an even stiffer, better platform to throw a lot of horsepower at, and an incredible design and body and all that. So let's talk a bit about where this car starts differing from a Lykan Hypersport and why we chose to go that direction. So I tell you what, come on back over here, sort of between the Formula car and the dune buggy, if you don't mind, so you can look at it this way. What's up, Tyler? Hey. Sorry, man, I'm in your way too much. You're good. Now here, guys, where it will differ. The Lykan Hypersports, effectively from the middle forward, it's exactly the same. This is all Porsche basis. And if you look carefully at the Hypersport interiors, and you look at the seats, you will notice that the controls and everything in the seat structure are the same because they restructured and reupholstered the original Porsche seats. The same seats is what this is. So we will be reupholstering them, restructuring, basically have Lykan, of course, and we'll be making our own door panels and our own everything there. Also, the dashboard we'll be configuring to work as such, but if you guys look carefully at a lot of the controls of the Hypersport, the center pod, the switch, even some of the shifter and such, those are Porsche basis. Which is careful to see. Now, it's not fair to say that a Lykan Hypersport by any means is a rebodied Porsche. It was a $3.5 million car for a reason. They are highly technological, incredibly well engineered, and using very exotic components. So now we're going to start getting into why the Lykan Hypersports were so darn expensive. Now, basically from the seats back, the Lykan Hypersport is bespoke. The suspension of those cars is push rod, which frankly is effectively what's on this Indy car. Or if you'd like a more rudimentary showing right here, this Formula car has an upper A-arm here and a lower A-arm here, and then this is the push rod. So as that wheel goes up and down, this push rod pushes to a bell crank to inboard shocks and springs there. The original Lykan Hypersports do exactly the same. They have all of their own tailored and bespoke rear suspension with a push rod and bell cranks going to their shocks inboard, which is a typical race car thing to do and works very well. And also, the reason they did that is they created their own incredibly rigid chassis structure with everything going on, the metal structure in the middle, as well as coming through the roof to build that. And the real reason they did that is, one, the transaxles they use and then evolved to are not the stock Porsche transaxles. There's something that needs to hold a lot of horsepower. Because the engine in a Hypersport, only the block is originally from Porsche. Everything else is built very custom because it's pumping a lot of horsepower twin turbo. So that's where you start getting a lot of money. It's a very high dollar engine, it's high dollar transaxle, all the engineering and programming to make that work very well, and of course all the bespoke racing engineering. To give you guys an example, that IndyCar chassis back in the mid-1990s with no engine, no internal gears, no spares, and unpainted, just the chassis and suspension all was a $600,000 or $700,000 chassis in the mid-90s. So I think that helps put into perspective just how and why engineering a supercar, a hypercar, a race car can get so expensive. And then when you take on top of that, building basically a robust platform in terms of all the racing engineering, and when I say robust, just stronger so it can stand the test of time on the street rather than a race that only lasts for a few hours. But then you also get into all the design aspect and the complexity of how these doors open and the wonderful workmanship of materials and all the handmade aspect that goes into the interior. They had very beautiful holographic dashes on the Lykan Hypersport. and you're doing something that's very low production. So you don't get the cost savings of doing higher runs of things like windshields and parts. So you're really doing bespoke, tailor-made things. And that's really where the cost comes to be. So it goes without saying that the Genius Garage built, taking the stunt car and building something. One, we've had a lot of fun with this, and I hope you guys have all understood that we're joking around. We're not fools. Obviously, we're building a nice car. We're on a lot of race cars. And in fact, the last video, we were joking around with the Fast and the Furious money and the $100 bills was really just to be fun and a joke, and I was kind of messing with the students. So I appreciate for the people that thought that was funny. I'm glad you did, and I hope we didn't take too much away. But I wanted to get a little more serious because this is a wonderful project, and W Motors actually treated us very well in reaching out and sharing some engineering wisdom. So how does our car differ from the original Hypersports now? Well, we chose to go a direction a little bit different than the original cars from W Motors. And that was, wanted to basically make kind of the Superleggera version, as we've called it, a bit more of a track car, but one that's very suitable for the street. So we wanted to keep it relatively simple, light, strong. So one, it can be enjoyed on the street, but we got a bunch of college guys. I like to race. So we want it to be a little bit more raw. It's going to be a very nice interior, obviously very nice materials and everything with it, very strongly built, but it's going to be loud, it's going to be nasty, and it's going to be very suitable for the track. I think some of you, a few videos ago, we took it to Mid-Ohio, and even the very first time out, without the car even being properly scaled and set up, was actually a wonderful platform. And I can tell you that this one, and how we designed it, obviously, we cut a Boxster chassis in half and it had to be lengthened, but that chassis by no means would be a well-performing machine. Then you get into all of the tubular structure and everything that had to be engineered and built with this, and that comes into play because what the students have been able to do with this is incredible. Because what was very evident for me as a racing driver and a test driver on the track, the first time out, this chassis platform was perfect. There was no flexing, there was nothing rattling, there was nothing off at all. It was as solid as a rock in every way, shape, and form, and athletic, which told me a number of things from the experience of driving nasty high horsepower things or high aerodynamic. You could throw 800, 1,000, 1,200 horsepower at this chassis platform as it sits right now, and the chassis platform would be able to handle it in spades. At that point, you'd probably want to upgrade, of course, your cooling, but we've got lots of great areas for intercoolers. We've got more places to upgrade the radiators. And of course, with these large wheels, we've got plenty of room for big brakes. So that was the big breakthrough, awesome aha moment of the Genius Garage built Hypersport. We'll call it the Superleggera Hypersport. Why don't we? Of just what a fantastic platform this actually is. So it's going in the right direction. Now, obviously, you guys are seeing this kind of in its ugly duckling stage because there is no sense in making all the composites pretty, and you can see where there was tape pulling off the paint from when it was a stunt car and such. So currently, right now, what the guys are doing are they're finalizing things with the body, making the inner panel type, I don't know what you might call them, but the shall we say, the decorative design elements, and getting it ready so that in a week, we can start getting seriously about sanding, fitting panel gap, bringing it down, doing any composite structural work we need to so the car can be painted. Its final paint and be absolutely gorgeous and working on the door gaps. So without further ado, I just wanted to tell you all that because the car is truly coming out beautifully and we've had so much fun and frankly goofed around in a lot of these videos. I don't want that to take away anything from what these students have accomplished. So Tyler, why don't you get in on this? So where are you at right now? What's going well? What's taking more effort? And how you feeling about getting this thing ready for paint?
So we're doing pretty good considering, what we've had to go through and the challenges that we've had to surmount trying to get this to fit well and make it look nice. And I think we've done a really good job so far, given what we've had to, what we've had to do. So far, right now, we're in, as you told everyone, we're in the finalizing stages of getting the project together. Very soon we're going to start fiberglass repair and getting it ready to get painted. So right now we're just kind of in the finishing stages of getting the supporting structure done. So things like getting the rear decorative section engine cover parted. Go ahead and take a look at that here. Yeah, so actually I can talk through that real quickly. I just got this mounted.
Well, and the trick of that for you is you have to process, think of when this car needs to be serviced, you need to access the engine. In what steps do you do that, and how do you build this so that it can come apart?
And we want to make it so that it is not impossible to get apart and it's easy to
No,
service.
we want it to be a user-friendly,
Yep.
serviceable track and street car.
So when we got this part back here, this used to be 2 separate panels. And
this and this you're speaking.
This
or
and
these
this.
two.
This, actually, all of this was a separate panel. This is separated from this part, and underneath this part, which these are bolted through to, is a separate fiberglass panel that is structurally integral to holding these two pieces together. So when putting this car together, you have to look at all of the fiberglass pieces that we have and see, okay, how are we going to get these to fit well, and how are we going to make them look nice and also be structurally sound. So that's kind of what I've been working on back here, and we've got to do it in a way that looks nice and in a way that it stays together. So far it's been doing a good job. It did a great job out on the racetrack when we got it together, and so that's kind of the stages we're at, and we're doing that with a lot of the car is finalizing, fixing, and putting things together.
The things that you guys didn't have, and none of us had with this, was we didn't have original drawings or blueprints, nothing.
No.
So that became such a greater engineering challenge to take bodywork that frankly was floppy and had been sitting in junkyards in the sun and had been beaten up to get that exactly where it needs to be, and it is. So I tell you what, you're getting ready for that. Maybe not super exciting, but I think we need to show off Ryan's taillights.
Ryan has done an excellent job on the lights.
Ryan, you want to work these things for him?
Actually, so
the fireless and taillights.
He'll talk through them a lot better than I did because
you want to be the monkey that operates them?
I'll get in the car.
Ryan, come on over here. Okay, you get in the car. All right. Are you back far enough you can see the taillights and everybody?
All right. So, headlights on.
Ooh, okay. So there's your running lights, right?
Yep, those are the lower power LED running lights that we have on right now.
Okay. Now, and how it works is the red here on the inside is a whole separate channel on the inside, and this is a separate channel there where it's clear.
Yep, there is a, just like you were saying, there's an internal structure here that separates the light, creates the divide in the light, so you have this nice center piece open for the
That's neat. That's it. Oh, look at that.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous, man. Okay, hit the brakes too.
There goes
It's funny hearing that thing. Well, look at that. Yeah. Here, come on back right in the center. Let's look at that together here, Aaron. Yeah, I really like that third brake light too. That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Ryan, you did an amazing job. I mean, you bespoke made taillights and brake lights for this thing. No problem. That looks gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let off the brake lights. Just hit those a couple of times. Okay, just start hitting everything and try to give me an epileptic seizure. Oh, it's crazy. It's too crazy. Too crazy. Okay, that's too much. I gotta walk away now.
That was cool to watch.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay, so Ryan, let's check out your headlights. What's going on with that? Because I know those are being very difficult.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot more different than the taillights where I was doing, I was working with the material I was familiar with. 3D printing is something I've been doing for a while and have some experience with. But this up here with aluminum, like making aluminum and doing handmade stuff is something I'm not really familiar with, and I had to learn, and I learned a lot through making these. And then with the interior piece of the light.
Well, and let me back up there. So we've got the composite nose, okay, but you only have so much structure. So you're having to make your own headlights, largely hand forming it out of aluminum. For the strength, and you can see this back here, and you've made it so it's serviceable, so you can remove the HID projector from the Porsche.
Yeah.
And we still have the high beam and low beam configuration, right?
Yes.
Which is not a separate filament. It's the same filament, but there's actually a little solenoid in there that changes like a beam or how it reflects.
Yeah, there's actually like a cutoff line. That's how like the HIDs have those like, I guess, they're very unique in a way that they have a very sharp cutoff line.
Right.
And it's actually caused by a piece of metal that's in there that actually blocks part of the light.
does it? Okay.
Yeah. So there's a solenoid in there. It just moves the metal down more, so that when it goes through the lens, it gives you more.
Right. Now, you were going to try to use some artistic license in creating the backlighting for this in the daytime running.
Yes.
You were laser cutting acrylic that you were then bonding, and you were trying to polish aluminum to put in between to give it a great optical effect.
Yes.
That was it. So what is good about that, and what has gone wrong about that?
What has gone good about it is, personally, just from looking at it from here, it looks great when it's off. And
do you want to
off is the key term. Because when...
Let's do this. Turn on the headlights first, and let's show them working. And then let's turn on the daytime running part.
Okay.
Man, listen to them hum.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you do the brights and then low beams?
Yep.
Oh, that was fascinating. Oh, wow. That's a heck of a solenoid. Do that again. Wow. Okay, let's just leave it at low beams. Now go ahead and turn your daytime running stuff on here.
All right.
Now, you know that, with the headlight on, that looks pretty good. Let's look at it again here, Ryan. Let's stand back.
Yeah.
I like it better with the headlight on than the daytime once the headlight's off.
Yeah, because there's enough light from the headlight itself helping illuminate the top pieces.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see it. It's hard to. This really has come out pretty well. But Ryan used some glue to bond it underneath there, and the way the light from the LEDs are bouncing off and reflecting through, kind of like big fiber, not fiber optic, but it's the optics of the flat is, it reflects and then you can see the glue, which is kind of the bummer. So that's to be the backlighting. I don't know, maybe we can still get away with it. Wait, let's look back here. What do you guys think? What do you think, Tyler? Now we got the headlight on.
I think it looks pretty good with the headlights on, actually.
It does look pretty darn good.
I like the silvery reflection you get from the aluminum.
I know. Ryan, why are our diamonds not here yet?
Because they're still being shipped. They're in Illinois right now, so they're pretty close, but not quite Bowling Green, Ohio.
You think they're getting thrown away with mail-in ballots?
I hope not.
Yes, we are putting diamonds in the headlights, people. Ha!
Yep, quite a bit of diamonds, actually.
I want to put a diamond in a blowgun and shoot it.
We can do that.
Yeah, I've never done that before. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Kill the lights, and let's see how they look without the lights now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the first half of it, it looks really good. And then I just think the aluminum pieces, it's too long for the light to bounce all the way in and out.
You know what I think would be an interesting...
Why don't you keep going with what you got and get some... We need to illuminate it more. It just needs...
I could add another strip in the rear.
That might help. Ooh, yes. Okay, that's pretty cool, honestly. That's pretty cool. Let's try the other strip. I'm glad we're testing this right now, Ryan, because when we saw it earlier, it just wasn't doing it. And then if you get that in place, because you've already got all the pieces made, then we can figure out, we can then do kind of like what W Motors had going on here, and then the place to inlay the diamonds.
Yeah.
Is that showing up in the camera? Kinda. Okay, cool. All right. Wait, before you do that, hit the headlights again.
You want to see the headlights?
Yeah, I want to see headlights. Whoa. Okay.
Oh, the taillights are so cool.
Do they look sweet? Let's come back here and let's look. What you got there?
Dark enough to turn them on.
Oh, that's sweet. They don't fall. Okay, awesome. All right, let's go look at the taillights now. Come on, Aaron, cameraman. Okay, who's gonna operate the car? Oh, that looks sweet. Oh, that looks evil. Where's my camera? I gotta take pictures of this. Yeah, come on back, man. Okay, turn on the blinkers, or the emergency flashers. That is sweet. Okay, turn off the blinkers. Go brake lights. That is sweet. Now turn on the turn signals with the brake lights on. Can you turn on turn signals?
Turn signals, sorry.
Okay, let's go left. Sweet. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to paint this. Okay, go for lights. So I was thinking, what do you guys think about not painting it red?
I don't know. I kind of like the red, and I think we should stick to the Fast and Furious Live lineage that the car derives so much of it from.
Yeah, I almost kind of want to go like charcoal or silver.
They look
or
cool.
black
They
or
look
something.
cool in black. They're, I believe a couple of the W Motors press cars were black, and they look really cool in black. However, this being the Fast and Furious Live, I think we owe it to paint it red.
I don't know. I mean, the one in the movie was red.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment below. Anyway, on that note, Ryan, come here. So this guy, tell us how your life is changing because of Genius Garage this year.
All right, so I got a job with Genius Garage, which is exactly what the program is designed to do, and it's done a great job of it. So when we were at Road America with the Lykan, we had lots and lots of people. I think Casey discussed this during the VinWiki, that episode that came out on it, which you should check out. lots and lots of people were coming up to talk to us about the Lykan, and I was standing by this car for pretty much all day, talking to people, telling people about what it was about, if it wasn't clear enough. But yeah, I was telling everybody what it was about, you know, kind of the story of it. And one of the guys from another team that was, you know, a bit up the hill came to talk to me about the car. We got into talking, and he was like, you know, we need more people working with us. Well, turns out that he works for a company that does pre-war car restorations, and they're located up in Troy, Michigan, which isn't too far from where we are. So I started talking with them. And a couple of months later, brings us to now, they sent me an email and they were like, hey, you know, we're looking for people who are, you know, we're looking for people for the team, and we would love
dedicated, hardworking fabricators.
Yeah, and we would love to have you come work for us. So long story short, I submitted everything. I went and visited them, and I love the facility, and I'm going to go work for them.
So what kind of cars are you going to be working on?
Well, we're going to be working on Delahaye's, old Bugattis. There are Bentleys there, and the company that I'm working with is getting the rights to the Miller sprint car name. That's so cool. They're going to be producing some Millers from scratch.
A foundry to make blocks and stuff too.
Yeah, well, they have access to a foundry.
You have decided to go full old school engineer fabricator.
Oh, I love it. Yep.
And you are buying a house even now.
I am. Yeah, so I'm actually purchasing a house out in Michigan.
And how old are you?
19. 20 tomorrow.
Are you pretty happy?
I am. It's an exciting jump that I would not have been able to have if I hadn't come to Genius Garage here, because I wouldn't have had the resume building experience of putting this car together if I hadn't done that.
How your parents feel about this?
They're excited. They're excited for me. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, that's about it, guys. We're going to do a video you'll see next week of the Tame Prototipo. Cameron has finished that with help from Aaron, the camera guy right now, as well as One Hand Cam, who's not here anymore. He left. But Cameron also has a wonderful surprise. And then, let's see here, in a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, we're going up to another big company that does things with commercial trucks.
Who we also met at Road America.
Yes, and autonomous driving and mirrors and visibility, a lot of cool things there. I'm going to bring some of the past Genius Garage students up to that too. So it's really exciting here, you guys. The Lykan is going very well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for dealing with our ridiculous antics and silliness. We actually do know what we're doing. So we hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you to the guys at W Motors and, of course, VinWiki. But I'd say within the next month, we're going to be getting into painting. There's a lot. The devil is in the detail right now, you guys. And hey, next week, diamond fight.
If you want, we can do a diamond fight.
Yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to goof off next video. I'm not sorry. It's going to be fun. See you guys then.